Hey budget gardeners, Vita Loca here. Join me today as we sow the seeds for trailing lobelia. So let's go. I live in New Hampshire. I garden in zone 5B. My average last frost date is May 15th. Today is March 4th. I'm about 10.5 weeks away from my average last frost date. When it comes to seed starting, I'm trying to be very mindful, very careful when I start my seeds. It's always good to look at the back of your seed packet and start your seeds accordingly. But I also like to double check on the internet and check other sites to make sure I'm starting my seeds at the right time, because sometimes the back of the seed packet is not always right. I also keep track of when I start my seeds in a spreadsheet on Google Drive. I really recommend keeping track of when you start what seeds so that the next year and the year after you can make adjustments accordingly. I've definitely fallen victim to starting some seeds too early. I've also sometimes started my seeds too late. So I like to modify that year after year so I can really hone in on the right time to start different seeds. In terms of trailing lobelia, you want to start those seeds around 8 to 10 weeks before your average last frost date. Some sites will say 10 to 12 weeks before your last frost date. I've tried that, and unfortunately what I find is the plants start blooming and they get way too big too early. So for me personally, I found starting these seeds between 8 to 10 weeks before my last frost date is better. When it comes to seed starting, you always want to base it on whatever your last frost date is. You don't want to base it on your hardiness zone. After all, hardiness zone just tells you different plants that are hardy in your area. In other words, which perennials will survive and which ones won't during the coldest parts of your winter. But for seed starting, you look at your average last frost date and then you count backwards from there. If you don't know what your average last frost date is, you can do an internet search. Type in something like, what is my average last frost date? And then put in your zip code or put in the area that you live in. Another way you can do it is go to the website down below, enter in your zip code, and it will give you an idea of your average last frost date. There's also a map on that site. Go to the map, find your location, and you'll be able to find your date that way. I've been growing trailing lobelia from seed for a number of years now. In fact, for the last many years, I've grown it from seed that I've collected myself. I've made videos showing you my process for collecting the lobelia seeds, and let me tell you, they are super tiny. And not only are the seeds tiny, they are very slow to germinate. Lobelia seeds germinate after 2 to 3 weeks. You want to make sure you're keeping those seeds moist while you're waiting for them to germinate. You don't want them to dry out. When I start lobelia indoors, I definitely need to pot up the seedlings at least a few times. And during that time, I also might pinch back my seedlings just to make a bushier plant. I then start hardening off my plants slowly as my average last frost date approaches. Since I collect my own seeds, I end up with a slight variation in color for my trailing lobelia. I'm okay with that. Every year I save so much money, not only growing lobelia from seed, but by collecting my own seeds year after year. I really enjoy this plant up along my front walkway. It complements nicely with white sweet alyssum, snapdragons, and even dahlias, all of which I've grown from seed before. I also have enjoyed the lobelia in my old arborvitae bed. In there I usually also have white alyssum along with pink vinca and even coleus, more plants that I like to grow from seed that I've collected in my own yard. Trailing lobelia even makes a great impact in different types of pots and containers. I'm excited to show you some lobelia seeds that I've purchased for this year, so let's get planting. Here are the seeds that I bought recently from a garden center close to my house. You can see for the price, $2.69. That's not bad. And from what I read on the Botanical Interest website, there are a ton of seeds in this packet. All Botanical Interest seeds have information on the front of the packet as well as on the back of the packet. There's additional information on the inside of the packet. Personally, I just like to go to their website because there's also a lot of great information out there. The reason why I bought seeds this year for trailing lobelia is because I don't have this pinkish red color of lobelia, and I'd really like it. And then hopefully I won't ever have to buy lobelia seeds again. So you can see there's some light blue, there's dark blue, there's these shades of red, and there's even some whitish colored lobelia in here. Here's some additional information on the back of the packet. Here you can see days to emerge, 15 to 20 days. And you want to press lightly into the surface, which means the seeds do need light to germinate. The recommended temperature for germination was a little lower on this seed packet, But when I did a little bit of additional research, I did see that the lobelia seeds could benefit from a seedling heat mat. So that's why I'm going to be using one for these seeds. And then I have other packets of lobelia that I've collected, and there you can see there aren't many in these 2 packets. Honestly, when it comes to sowing the seeds, I'm going to probably sow them in 3 sections. One section will have these seeds, another section will have these, and then a third section, I'm just going to mix these 2 together. Here I have some seed starting mix. I like to make my own seed starting mix, and I'll put a link to a video down in the description. It's basically 2 parts of peat moss, but you can use cocoa coir, to 1 part of very fine vermiculite. And then I add a small pinch of dolomite lime, which helps offset the pH of the peat moss. I also poured boiling hot water on my seed starting mix. You want to use pre-moistened seed starting mix, but also the boiling hot water helps kill any possible fungus gnat eggs that might be in here. When I squeeze my seed starting mix, notice there's no water dripping out. But when I let go, it's holding its form, and that's the right consistency that you want for your seed starting or potting mix. In a lot of my seed starting videos, you'll see that I use seed starting mix. I like to use seed starting mix when it comes to very small seeds. Now, if I was sowing a much larger seed, like a sunflower, I would totally be fine with just directly sowing it into potting mix. But I want my little teeny tiny seeds to have a better rate of germination. And I find with seed starting mix, there's not as much big material in here, and it just seems a lot lighter, a lot fluffier. I like to use restaurant takeout containers because honestly they're free to me and they make wonderful little greenhouses. In fact, this one has little vent holes in it, which is wonderful because in case it gets too hot in there. And I did make holes in the bottom of the container because you want to bottom water your seedlings. You don't ever want to water them from above because that can introduce all sorts of problems. So I'm going to go ahead and add my seed starting mix to my container. And now I'm going to press on the seed starting mix. I want to take out any air pockets that might be in there. I don't want to press too hard because I don't want to compact the seed starting mix too much. When it comes to seed starting, I do like to use garden markers because I find that they don't wear off as easily as a pen or a Sharpie. I always like to label the seeds that I'm sowing, and not only that, I like to put the day that I sowed the seeds just to keep track of everything. And I've added the labels here. I also put dividers in the middle just so I know which seeds are in which place. I mentioned earlier that Botanical Interest keeps a lot of good instructions in the inside of their seed packet, so you can see that. And then inside of the seed packet is another packet that holds the seeds in it. I was curious, I wondered if Botanical Interest seeds were pelleted, and they do not appear to be. Don't be afraid when you see seeds like that. They are very tiny, and I'm going to show you them in a second. You can see that I am not going to be sowing all the seeds that are in this packet. There's a couple of reasons. Number one, since the seeds are not pelleted, they should still be fine for me to use next year. And number two, for whatever reason, if these seeds do not germinate for me, I want to have some backup seeds on hand that I can sow again within another few weeks. And that's a nice close-up of what the seeds look like. I can't tell you how many are there, but I can tell you there are way more than I'm probably going to need. So if I have an overabundance of them, I can definitely add some as part of my backyard plant nursery sales. When it comes to this plant, I really do enjoy it in the areas of my yard that get a lot of sun. So I prefer to sow a lot of this seed for that reason, because it just is such a striking color, such a striking plant, I feel. I feel like the seeds get a bad rap because they're tiny, and I feel like the plant gets a bad rap because if you let it dry out, it just dies. A lot of times you'll find this plant in a hanging basket, and when you buy it in the hanging basket, it looks beautiful, and then you wonder all of a sudden, why did it die out? Again, it's a plant that just needs a lot of water. I don't typically put this plant in a hanging basket for 2 reasons. First of all, I don't have areas of my yard that get full sun where the hanging baskets are. And another reason is I don't have my hanging baskets set up on drip irrigation. And there's no way I would be out there watering those hanging baskets as often as these little seedlings would need it. And not just the seedlings, the adult plants would need that water as well. I'm usually pretty good about putting the dates of when I collected my seeds, but I didn't do that. But I know that these seeds are not that old. And the seeds are very fine. They're mixed in there along with the non-seed material. So when it comes to sowing this, we're just going to be sowing all of it, the seed plus the non-seed material, simply because the seeds are so tiny. This is called faith in seed collecting. You just have to trust me on this. There are seeds mixed in here, I promise. And I'll show you probably in like a week or two what they look like once they germinate. It definitely saves me a lot of space initially when it comes to sowing my seeds very heavily in something like a restaurant takeout container. And when you have tiny little seeds like this, it's almost impossible to sow them in something like a six cell pack, I feel. Again, if the seeds were pelleted, then it's fine. You can sow tiny seeds that are pelleted in a 6 cell pack. But otherwise, personally, I think it's much easier to start off in something like this, a much larger container. These are tiny. I'm going to sow these, and then the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to go about pressing the seeds into the seed starting mix and why we do that. Look how small the seeds are. They really are tiny. Now we're going to go ahead and we're just going to press in our seeds. We want to make sure that the seeds make good contact with the seed starting mix. That's really important because once the seeds start sprouting or germinating, the roots will come out and they're going to be looking for that soil. So if you don't do this step, what happens is the seeds germinate and the roots are just kind of on the top, but they don't really anchor into the soil. That's why you really want to make sure there's good contact happening here. You see that I put dividers here, and I've mentioned this in other videos. I'm okay because these seeds are so tiny. If by mistake a seed from this area went into that area, it's fine. I mean, they're all eventually going to bloom for me, and I'll see what their colors are anyway. I'm okay multi-sowing different colors of this trailing lobelia in one container like this. You don't want to be sowing something that grows at a different rate in the same type of container. It just sometimes can cause problems. So that's good. We pressed in the seeds. They need light to germinate, and now they'll get that because the seeds are still pretty much on the surface of the soil here. And I'm just going to use this small hand pump sprayer. I like to add a little additional water on top of the seeds just so that they really press into the seed starting mix and have a better chance of germination. And now I'm very gently giving this a small mist of water. Remember, the seed starting mix was already wet, but it's still a good idea to just give it a little bit of water very lightly. I'm now going to add this cover. Notice that it's clear, and that's good because since the seeds need light to germinate, light can still come through this clear cover. And another reason we're adding this is for this cover to act as a humidity dome. And what it does is it keeps those seeds nice and moist. If I don't add this on there, those seeds are going to start drying out very fast. And since they take a long time to germinate, we don't want that. So that's why we're putting this on. If you don't have something like this, you can use clear plastic wrap or anything else that's clear that will allow light to come in and that will hold the humidity in there. Now I'm placing the restaurant takeout container on a seedling heat mat which stays on 24 hours a day in order to get the 70 to 75 degree Fahrenheit range. And notice I have my grow lights here. These are turned on 16 hours a day from 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. Remember, be patient. It might take 2 to 3 weeks to see some sort of germination. Once I see good germination, I will remove this container off of the heat mat, but I'll make sure that they're still under the grow lights because they will need that nice strong light. Thinning out and potting up will be done as soon as I have my first set of true leaves. Remember, when it comes to starting seeds, especially tiny seeds that are surface sown, you don't want those seeds to dry out. And that is especially true when you have seeds that take a long time to germinate, such as lobelia. Even though the humidity dome keeps things nice and moist, if I feel like the seed starting mix is starting to dry out, I'll just lightly mist the top layer of the mix just to make sure it doesn't dry out. However, once those seeds have germinated, you don't want to be spritzing the top with water anymore. At that point, you want to start bottom watering your seedlings. I'll be sure to bring you along once the seeds have germinated and then you my process for pricking out the seedlings, potting them up, fertilizing them, pinching them back, and then eventually getting them out in my landscape. Let me know in the comments if you've ever started trailing lobelia from seed, and if so, what are some of your tips or secrets with growing this plant? I highly encourage you to also start collecting your own seeds. You really will save so much money year after year. I have a whole playlist that shows you how to collect the seeds of different plants. I'll be sure to add a link to that in the description below. And until the next video, make it a great day with gardening.